Well, hello, gentlefolk of the knitting community. My name is Jenny, and welcome to the Knitted Wardrobe podcast. It is a joy to have you here. If you've joined us from Instagram at _knitted_wardrobe, or if you've joined us from the website, theknittedwardrobe.com, it is a joy to be here. And also, if you've just joined us from the YouTube algorithm, I love that too. So this is a place where we talk about all the yarny shenanigans, knitting, design, what we're up to, and today we're talking about life updates. So grab your hot cold beverage, grab your needles, grab your hooks, grab your yarn, put your feet on the sofa and join us for the next episode in the Knitted Wardrobe. Well, you've joined us here today. It's Thursday morning, and although you wouldn't guess it with how dark it is outside, it's actually about 9:30, and I'm here with my morning cup of coffee, and it is a delight to be sitting back in the podcast chair. It's been a hot minute since we were able to do this. Life has just culminated in a lot of stuff lately, and I have found a lot of peace in my crafts, and today I wanted to talk about some knitting projects I'm in the middle of, catch up with some designs that I'm thinking of, and also some other kind of like bits and bobs that are around and about. But it is Super Bowl weekend this weekend, so if you are cheering the 49ers or the Chiefs, I hope you're having a great time. Our editor, Jeremy, is going on his annual weekend retreat with the guys, and they are doing Super Bowl in style, as always, so I hope they have a fantastic weekend. I personally will be cheering for my dad's old team, the 49ers. It was either the 49ers or the Miami Dolphins in our house, so yeah, I'm really pleased to be able to raise my pom-poms for them this weekend. And yeah, it's good. So let's get cracking, shall we? Today we are starting with the rock pool shawl because there's been some stuff going on with that, which is rather good fun. And also, I had a personal disaster, so I thought I'd share that with you now. So today we're going to start with the rock pool shawl updates because there's a lot going on there, and I just thought I would bring you along for the ride, really. Last week we started the test knit for it, which is fantastic. We have 5 wonderful test knitters, and I will make sure to link them down below. And we also have Amanda joining us, who is sample knitting a shawl for me for all the photo shoots. And we have Rachel Prest, who has been my editor all the way through. And yeah, it's been really good fun over the last couple of weeks, getting it together, making sure everybody's got their yarn. If you follow us on Instagram at the _knitted_wardrobe, you will know that they've been receiving it in the post. They've been kind of like playing around with it. And last Thursday, we all cast on Zoom, and it was so much fun to meet them all. And we're having a regular Thursday evening session for the next 8 weeks while people knit it up and do all the things. And Amanda is sample knitting for me as well, which is just lovely. So she is sample knitting a full-sized rock pool shawl for all our photo shoots, which is fantastic. And it took such a weight off my shoulders to be able to work with her, work with the test knitters, and just get to know 6 awesome women who are just amazing at knitting. It's just great to hear their passion, and yes, it's wonderful. It was even more encouraging as I had a bit of a disaster with my version. So I was on a call with Rachel and we were talking about some edits. And this was about 2-3 weeks ago now. And I had a cup of tea on my desk and I was watching the screen and I was looking at kind of like the Google Doc we were working at. And I had the shawl next to me and I picked up the shawl and I've held it up to the camera, and one of the labels that was attached to something caught on my keyboard and the shawl fell in the tea and just covered the desk. And I just looked at it and went, right, crack on. And I mean, the yarn, which is beautifully hand dyed by Hannah over at the Camel's Yarn, it's beautiful. I was able to save this part, which is the part actually that has been on the needles for the longest that I've had to rip back. So I got to the midway through the seagrass part, and that's the bit that fell it because it was the newest part of the shawl. That's the bit that fell into the tea. So I'm pretty much exactly where I was a month ago now, and I'm a bit gutted. But that is why, and I've taken it off the needles, and it will be frogged this afternoon. Now I've shown it to you, but that is a big reason why Amanda has just come in to save the day with the sample knitting, because I don't actually have enough time to now knit the shawl in time for the photo shoot in a few weeks' time. So the Rockpool shawl is going really, really well. The design end, the test knit, everything is going to plan. It's all on target. But without Amanda, I can safely say I just wouldn't be able to speak for stress. So it's been really nice to send all the yarn kits off to everybody. And the thing that I've loved, she says, reaching over, this is just such squishy yarn. It's just beautiful. And I was saying to Hannah on DMs the other day is that I think we're going to set up a fan club for the comfort fingering. I know I've spoken about it before. It is 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk and 10% cashmere. And it is a flipping dream. And now having had to kind of like take it off the needles, and this is not blocked at all. The drape of it is fantastic, and I just love every aspect of this yarn. I love this part of the design actually. This is the one that actually had my head in a spin for the longest, because we fade the waves. The wave pattern is kind of like faded in with the colours, so it's all a bit lovely. I've actually changed the design for the midpoint here, so those yarn overs won't be there in the final draft. But the test knitters have been phenomenal. So they have really put up with me changing quite a lot in the midsection. And I just want to give a shout out to test knitters. So I know a lot of people go into test knits with the understanding that the design is set and it won't be changed, and that the designer gives them pretty much the printable version of what they're about to publish. My crew came on knowing that there would be changes, and they would be working off a working draft that would change and it would be updated. And I think as a test knitter, that is just like amazing to be able to take that on and go, yes, we'll work with you. And as a designer, it's just been a dream. So the Rockpool shawl, although mine, I will knit it again, but I'm not putting the pressure on myself to knit it for the date that I need it. So it's great to have it. It's going really well, and just wanted to update you on that really. But life has been a bit of a pickle, so I thought I would share some real comfort projects that I've been enjoying lately. And the next one is the Stella Quilt Blanket by Laura Penrose. So, as you know, I have got this wonderful non-gifted, this is not an ad, lovely sheep bag from Emma at Eldon Wood Craft. And I took it to the pub on Monday because my friend Sarah from the Knit Lounge finally got the keys to her shop premises in Greyshot over on the border of Hampshire and Surrey. And it's just such a dream, that shop. It's going to be great. She's filling in raw plugs at the moment, raw plug holes, and she's doing all the spackling and getting the paint on the walls. And yeah, it was a joy to be there on the day she picked up the keys. And we went to the pub afterwards to celebrate with fish and chips and a bit of a drink, which is funny because I don't drink alcohol. So it was a Zero Gin Tanqueray, which wasn't that bad actually, and a Fever Tree tonic. In all honesty, next time I'll probably just go for the tonic, but never mind. We had a great time. And I took my Stella Quilt Blanket with me. So, back in the autumn, Laura Penrose came out with the wonderful Stella Quilt cushion. And if you haven't seen that, where have you been on Instagram? It's a beauty. And I had seen it and had been very open with the fact that I was going to use the pattern for a blanket rather than the cushion, because knitted cushions just isn't really my home decor style. It's just not my thing. So I got a DM from her and she said, would you be up for being part of the blanket test knit in the early new year? And I was like, yeah, I'm down. Count me in. I'd love to do that. And so we're on a bit of a secret squirrel test knit for it with a group of other knitters. It's so much fun. And although I can't share a lot of it because the new designs are beautiful, they're not published yet, I can share this one because this is the original Stella Cushion quilt. Stella Cushion? Yes, we'll go with that. There's the original block that you get in the cushion cover. So if you have the cushion cover already, this is the one you'll be knitting. But I don't think you'll be knitting it this big. Isn't it great? I flippin' love it. It's going to be huge. So this is going to be the middle block of my king size quilts. And I'm just loving it. The thing I'm loving about the most is the yarn, which I will bang on about in a minute. So this is halfway up the block. So it's 4 squares high and 4 squares along. And this is the middle, as I said, the middle one. And I just love it. It's going to be a really awesome blanket. It's going to be huge. And I have a king size bed that Finchley, my cat, takes most of. And he loves the yarn too, because it's full of lanolin. And it's from Oost up in the Outer Hebrides, an island on the archipelago of the Outer Hebrides up in Scotland. And it's from a community mill. And the sheep are all local and they spin it and it's beautiful. There are different types of sheep. There's different breeds of sheep, types of sheep. They're different breeds of sheep. But the joy of it is because it's all undyed natural fleece, natural yarn, the colours won't run. So I've been able to go really big and bold with these. And I just think they're amazing. I'm really happy with them. And I am just going to pause because I'm such a bad YouTuber. I do this every time. Sorry, Jeremy. I'm going to run and get the other colours that I'm going to be using for it. And they are here in my gifted, I've been keeping them in my gifted Knitting Swan project bag. They're beautiful. I love this bag too. And thank you, Teo, for sending it to me. It's such a great one for big projects. But the colours I'm going with. So we've got the base white colour, which is Solace, this is all on an Aran base, and I'm doing it on a 4.5mm needle, which is a really tight gauge, but it's great for a blanket. And this is 150 meters for 100 grams. And this one is in Cheviot breed, which is actually, the micron count makes it a bit prickly. I wrote a journal. If you're part of the newsletter subscribers, you'll have read all about it in the journal. But the micron count for me means that I would use this as an outerwear and homewares, but I personally wouldn't put it next to my skin. And on a 4.5, I'm a pretty neutral knitter. It makes quite a tight gauge, which I'm very happy about. But yes, it's a phenomenal colour. Totally undyed. This is the sheep. Love that. Then this colour here that I'm using is a charcoaly colour, and I cannot remember the name. I'm waiting for a new couple of skeins because I've run out. But that is a mid-tone of the ones that I'm going to be using. The darker one is called Karma. And again, this is just a lovely, lovely non-dyed. It's like the perfect chocolate colour. Karma apparently means brave. And this is Hebridean, and this is 150 meters for 100 grams. So if you're looking for kind of like gram for gram when you're doing a project like a blanket, this is great. And yes, this is Karma, and I can't remember the name of this one either. But yes, this is the mottled. So it's got all three colours in that one. So I'll be doing the blocks in different colours, and they're there. Hang on, have I got the tags? Maybe I'm not such a bad YouTuber after all. I think I have the tags here. I do. So let's do this. So, cyan. That is this colour. So that's the charcoaly one. And this is Zwirtbale. Zwirtbale and Cheviot. And it's 155 meters for 100 grams. And then we have this one, which is here. And I'm not going to mutilate the name, but it means sea brine. So I love this one too. I think it's just beautiful. And again, this is going to be 155 meters for 100 grams. So yes, that's the sea brine colour. Sorry, covering my face, but there you go. The yarn is much more interesting. So yeah, I'm very happy with them. The blanket project is going to be a dream. I'm delighted with it. And this is probably the last time I'll probably show you the finished full block, but I won't be sharing the other designs until Laura says go for it. What have I found interesting? I found all the you pick up as you go. So there's no sewing in the block, although you will be sewing or crocheting up each block to itself for the blankets. There's different ways of doing this. If you've got the cushion cover, you'll know them. I found one particularly tricksy when I'm with people, which is when you pick up and decrease together on one edge. It's not complicated at all, and the directions are great. It's just that you need kind of to be talking about a TV program rather than anything deep and meaningful. But I love this. I'm very happy with it. And again, yeah, Finchley, my cat, has pretty much owned it already. So that's great. And the other two things I want to talk about actually are some sewing related items. So if you want to click out now, if knitting is what you're here for and you don't want to kind of listen to anything about sewing and dressmaking, then that's fine. I totally understand. And I'll see you in the next episode. But for all of you who want to stick around to talk about some embroidery and a new skirt I'm making, let's get cracking. Life in general has been a bit pickly lately, and I think it's really interesting when you sit down and make the decision to create a knitting channel on Instagram and on YouTube actually, is that by default we feel like we only can talk about knitting. I actually love textiles in general, whether that's weaving, dressmaking, embroidery. I've dabbled in all of it. I'm really proficient in sewing. I really enjoy it. And I love different types of fibres, cloth, yarn. I love it all. And I actually felt a bit knitted out about 3 weeks ago, which is why we didn't actually upload, because I just didn't feel like I had anything to say about knitting. I just needed to get my hands in another medium. And I think it's a really interesting one when we come to textiles and talk about how they fulfill us, what gives us peace. And I just really admire people who are able to kind of like get into one very specific channel and just go with that. And I love that. Believe me, I love it. I'm one that needs to kind of like go in and out of things. And so when I was feeling, I would never say I was burnt out. I was just tired. And I just needed to play and not do anything sensible or make anything that meant anything to anybody but me. So I needed some selfish playtime with some textiles. Is basically what that ramble was about. So I decided to go through my fabric stash and have a look at what I had and see if I could start making my spring wardrobe. I've made 95% of my wardrobe by hand, which is great. I don't do socks or undies. They're just not my bag. But I did have the shepherd skirt, and this is the pattern by Merchant and Mills. So this is the paper pattern that I had, and it was just lying there. And I also had this linen tencel that they do, and I don't actually know the colour of it. I got this a couple of years ago, and it's just been sitting in stash. And I had 6 buttons, and I thought, you know what? This requires no zip. It looked easy-ish for me. I would put it as an intermediate to advanced, but I knew I could do it, and it could just be a really good project over the course of a week. And so on Sunday this week, I sat down with a cup of coffee and I just cut it out. That was my only task on Sunday, was to cut it and just press the fabric and leave it there and just enjoy that. And I did, and it's great. And I've really enjoyed this project. Well, I've done 1 pocket so far. So on Monday, I sat down and crafted out the pockets, which I don't know if, in fact, you can't see on this at all. But the pockets, so the way the skirt is constructed is that you join the sides together and then do the hem. So that's like step 2 is the hem, which I was reading it kind of going, what about trying it on? You just have to trust. Just trust the length and know that that's just the length it's going to be. So do all your measurements on yourself and then do the measurements on the skirt pattern and then adjust accordingly before you cut the fabric. It's my only tip. So you've hemmed it, you've done the sides, and then you construct side pockets that also have the button placket. It's a beautiful bit of tailoring. I absolutely love it. And the way that the pockets, it was a masterclass in pocket tailoring. And I think it's really neat. It gives pockets and side structure to a skirt, which is always nice. And you don't have to put a zip in, which is, for me, the dream. Then you put the front waistband on and then the back waistband. And both parts of that waistband have buttons on it, so it forms a closure on the waistband, which is great. And then you do the pleating. You do the pleating, then the waistband, obviously. Sorry. And it's all pleated, and it gives a very gentle structure to a linen skirt, which I am very much for. Very looking forward to it. So yes, hopefully by next time we meet, we will be looking a bit more at this, the shepherd skirt. If you would like to follow the Woolly Reader, she is also doing it. She picked up Kerry, she picked up I think it was a Harris tweed. I know it's a tweed wool from Ray Stitch up in London. And she is hand sewing hers at the moment. And yesterday she was hand sewing the hem. So I'm doing the quick and easy version with sewing machine and an overlocker. Love that process for me. I just need to kind of like wear clothes. If you want to see a more kind of like Bernadette Banner approach, then go and see Kerry over at the Woolly Reader over on Instagram and follow her making journey because it's beautiful. And then also I was looking at some embroidery. So let's have a look at that, shall we? So if you have been following along for a while, you will know that in my early 20s, I spent a lot of time at the Royal School of Needlework, and I think the journey with embroidery is the place that I can put my pin on where I started really exploring textiles, getting to know fabric, getting to know different types of yarn. So I was embroidering in wool, in silk, in cotton. I was doing kind of like different weights of linens, weights of cottons, and I really enjoyed starting to embroider onto my knitwear and my maid clothes and just adding it as embellishments. I know in one podcast I talked about the oak leaf dress, which was a burnt umber linen dress, and down one panel I just embroidered gold oak leaves, and it was stunning. I cannot imagine fitting into that now, and that is not a bad thing. But I was craving some downtime, and I have not had anything on my embroidery hoop for around about 10 years now. So it's been a 10-year kind of like dearth, and I'm pretty vicious when it comes to kind of like creating a peaceful craft room. I don't actually have much stash. I have one basket for yarn. I have maybe half a shelf for fabric. I don't have much hanging around ever, but I have never got rid of my embroidery hoops. So I went and started searching for some springtime inspiration back near Christmas when I was feeling a bit bleh, and came across Nikki Franklin's work. And I have started I think it's the springtime, or is it the cherry tree? It's the springtime kit. This is not the one that arrived in the post. This is very much an enlarged version. So what I did was I took some stash fabric. So this is linen that I had knocking around after I made a shirt last year. And it was the perfect size for this frame. And then I just simply enlarged her design of the cherry tree. And it's French knots, it's just long stitches. I did a bit of, for the branches, I decided to do split stitch, because I wanted kind of like that look. And I'm French knotting over most of the branches. I just needed the branches to give the shadow of an idea, rather than anything else. And then the grass is just kind of like short, long stitches, if you know what I mean. So yeah, those are the French knots there. It's really pretty, and it is a great little kit. I personally have changed most things about it because I had the confidence to. So I've incorporated a lot more colour that comes into the kit. So the kit comes with 4 colours. So it comes with a brown, a cream, and a pink. I went to the craft store and bought about 4 more pinks, different creams, and I brought a lot more greens to kind of like add to the grass. And I enlarged this whole thing. So the kit is recommended for a 4-inch hoop, which doesn't come with the kit. And I've put this on a 10-inch, which is great. And I have it on a stand. So this burn was where I had the mag light that I use sitting on my craft desk, and the sun reflected through the mag light and started burning the back of my stand. A lesson to all that all magnifying glasses should always be kept under a cloth, even when you've just stopped to have a cup of tea. But yes, this is my stand, and this goes underneath my leg on the sofa, so I actually sit on this. So I can angle this to whatever I need to do, and I can adjust the height. So if you're looking for a really good embroidery stand, these are the ones to go to. And if you just Google embroidery stands, they should come up. But yeah, I love this one. I've also got a clamp version, which sadly is a fixed ring. I think it's a 12-inch, she says, looking at it. Yeah, it's a 12-inch, and that clamp is great because I can just shove it on my craft table And back in the day, I used to have it up all the time. But yeah, I definitely had to knock the cobwebs off this. I had to watch a few YouTube videos to remember how to do my split stitches evenly. But I'm really happy with this. I will probably put it in a fresh 10-inch hoop, because this one's attached also. And I will frame this up nicely and put it on the wall. But I have to say that doing the shepherd skirt and the embroidery has given me kind of like some brain space away from my knitting needles, but has also given me a fresh passion for knitting. It has really kind of like refreshed that kind of like part of me, part of my brain, part of my tacit knowledge of textiles, to want to get back into fibre again, which is great because Unravel is happening in Farnham in a couple of weeks' time. So I will be there on the Sunday. I think it's the 25th. It's definitely the Sunday, and I will be at our local yarn festival with a lot of other people, actually. If you go on the website, which I will link below, you will see everybody who is going to be there. I'm so excited to see Anton from Raw Wool. He will be there, of course, as well as people like Kettle Yarn and a load of others. I just cannot wait. Telling Yarns will be there. Beth she's not doing many shows this year, but she is at Unravel, and I'm very happy about that. I will be going with Sarah from the Knit Lounge. Her store will have been opened for a couple of weeks by then, so I can hear all the news from her and catch up on that, which would be great. So if you are at Unravel in February, do pop me a DM and let me know, and hopefully we can meet up. And so I feel fully refreshed after 3 weeks away and kind of like getting life together. There's stuff going on in the back end of life, which we all have, right? That is never on social media, but it's there. I feel great after doing some sewing. I will be finishing those projects up in the next couple of weeks. So I will definitely be doing a show and tell. And also I will hopefully have a new little kind of like update on the knitting projects that I've got in all the project bags at the moment. I'm hoping to get the Stella block finished so I can show you the midpoint of my quilt. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one actually, and just really excited to get spring underway. I am absolutely over winter. February is always a short month. I don't mind February. I woke up at 7 o'clock this morning and the birds were singing already. And I was like, yeah, okay, this is good. This is good. There's something about being awake in bed and hearing birdsong before the day starts, rather than not hearing them because it's dark and going to work without hearing them. So yeah, I'm just really happy that the seasons are turning, that we're getting through to the warmer months, and very excited to come back in the next couple of weeks to update you on all the projects. But I hope your knitting needles are bringing you a lot of joy. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for letting me share about my sewing and my knitting this week. It was kind of like, do I, don't I, do I? And I'm really pleased I did. So thank you for sticking around to the end. Let me know if you're a sewer. If you've reached this far into the podcast, let me know what you sew, what you enjoy making down in the comments below. And it'll be great to hear from you. But thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following along for the ride. And I look forward to catching up with you, hopefully with not too much frogging. Next time at the Knitted Wardrobe. Have a great weekend, enjoy the Super Bowl, and we'll see you later. Take care. Bye.